Every group in human history has had one. The man who talked the loudest and knew the least. The one who made the decisions and got everyone else hurt. The one who, when the hunt went wrong, explained at great length why it had actually gone right. He existed 10,000 years ago. He existed in ancient Rome. He exists in every office, every parliament, every group chat you have ever been in. The question is not whether he appeared. The question is what happened to him. The answer is not what you think. We have a story we tell ourselves about ancient leadership, that whoever was the biggest, the strongest, the most aggressive, naturally took charge, that early humans were ruled by fear, that the group had no choice but to follow whoever could break the most bones. That democracy, accountability, the right to question your leader, these were modern inventions, civilization's gift to itself, something ancient people were simply not capable of. Before we go further, if this kind of question keeps you up at night, you're in the right place. What explores exactly these stories, the ones hiding underneath the history you were taught? Watch our other videos, subscribe so you don't miss the next one, and leave your name and a suggestion for our next topic in the comments below. We read every single one, but the evidence keeps telling a different story. A more complicated one. A more human one. In 1999, anthropologist Christopher Boehm of the University of Southern California published a book called Hierarchy in the Forest. He had spent decades analyzing the ethnographic records of more than 150 hunter-gatherer societies from around the world, groups from the Arctic to the Kalahari to the Amazon basin, groups with no contact with each other, separated by oceans and millennia. And he found that virtually all of them had solved the same problem the same way. The bad leader did not last. Boehm called it the reverse dominance hierarchy. In almost every hunter-gatherer band ever studied, whenever a man tried to dominate the group to hoard food, to take more than his share, to boss others around, to make decisions that served himself instead of everyone, the group did something specific. First, they made fun of him. Publicly, relentlessly, with precision. This was not accidental. Among the Kungsan of the Kalahari Desert, ethnography Richard Lee documented a practice called insulting the meat when a successful hunter returned. With a prize kill, a fat antelope, a large animal that could feed the entire band, the correct response from the group was to tell him how skinny and worthless it was, how disappointed they were, how they had expected better. The hunter was expected to agree, not because the meat was bad, because arrogance was worse than hunger. If ridicule did not work, the group moved to shunning, then ostracism, then exile. And if exile did not work, if the man continued to use violence to take what wasn't his, continued to endanger others, continued to act as though the group existed for his benefit, then the band made a final decision. In his 2012 book, Moral Origins, Boehm documented that in multiple ethnographic records, hunter-gatherer bands executed members who refused to stop dominating others, not in anger. As a last resort, after every other option had been tried, collectively with consensus, they did not follow bad leaders. They removed them, but here's where it gets more complicated. This was not unique to humans. In 1982, primatologist Frans de Waal published Chimpanzee Politics, a 4-year study of a chimpanzee colony at Arnhem Zoo in the Netherlands. He documented in extraordinary detail how a male named Loot rose to alpha status by building coalitions, only to be killed by the very coalition that had put him there when he began acting against their interests. The message was the same in both species. Leadership was a performance contract. You got power by serving the group. You lost it, sometimes violently, when you stopped. Think about what this means. For most of human history, the relationship between a leader and a group was not a one-way street. It was a negotiation. The leader led because the group allowed it, because he was useful, because he made the hunt go right and the decisions go well and the group go home alive. The moment he stopped doing those things, the contract expired. Among hunters who lived in small mobile bands of 20 to 50 people and could not afford a bad decision at the wrong moment. This was not political theory. It was survival math. The bad leader was not a permanent problem. He was a temporary one, with a well-established solution. Now think about the Praetorian Guard. The Roman emperors had 10,000 of the most dangerous soldiers in the world stationed In Rome, whose official purpose was to protect the emperor's life, their actual effect was something different. Between 27 BCE and 305 CE, the Praetorian Guard was directly responsible for the overthrow, forced exile, or murder of 15 of the first 48 Roman emperors. When Emperor Galba took power in 68 CE and refused to pay the soldiers their customary bonus, they turned against him within months and replaced him with someone more useful. 3,000 years of civilization had not changed the basic calculation. The group still decided whether the leader stayed. It had just gotten more expensive. Now think about every group you have ever been part of. The project that failed because no one would tell the person in charge he was wrong. The meeting where everyone knew the decision was bad and said nothing. The organization where the person who talked the loudest kept their position long after everyone privately agreed they shouldn't. That silence is new. That silence is what we built on top of the old system. The hunter-gatherers did not have a word for the silence that lets bad leaders continue. They did not need one. In their world, a leader who endangered the group was not a management problem. He was a problem the group solved together, clearly, and without waiting for someone else to do it first. For 95% of human history, accountability was not a value. It was a reflex. The question is what we traded it for.